What is up, guys? This is the Casual Wrestling Show, where each and every day I pick one of pro wrestling's biggest topics to break down, and I open a discussion forum for you guys to chime in the casual wrestling community on YouTube and TikTok Live. If you enjoy the channel, please make sure to support us with a Casual Wrestling YouTube membership or join the Casual Wrestling Club for just $5 a month, which starting next week will grant you the ability to watch Monday through Thursday episodes live on YouTube or on TikTok Live. If you want to toss us a couple of dollars and you don't want to sign up for a monthly membership, that is okay. You can do that by submitting your questions through YouTube Super Chats, which we will read and acknowledge at the end of every episode. Some housekeeping before we get started here. Today's episode is a breakdown of the Wyatt 6 reveal on Monday Night Raw. Make sure to submit your thoughts through YouTube Super Chats or the comment section of this video and let me know your thoughts on what happened last night. So let's jump right into it. Crazy night last night. Possibly, we're talking about maybe the greatest Monday Night Raw I've ever witnessed in my life. So much to unpack, so much happened, but there's one thing that absolutely overshadowed everything. And it is something that I have been griping about. It's something that I've been, complaining about for the last 3 months now, 2 months now. I've been highly upset by the rabbit hole. I've been highly upset by having to follow these QR codes. And we finally got to see the new incarnation of the Wyatt 6. We finally are done with QR codes and we got to see the reveal of what this is going to be. And I'm going to tell you guys, I'm surprised. I am so surprised by how much I actually enjoyed the debut of the Wyatt 6. After how aggravated I was by these QR codes for the last 2 months, I can't tell you how surprised I am right now that I am actually excited to talk about the Wyatt 6 at this point. That was absolutely insane. Now, I see a lot of people running around. I see a lot of people, the IWC, talking about how over the top that was, how that was made for 10-year-olds, how that wasn't built for real wrestling fans. It's not based in reality. We'll get to all that. But what I will tell you is it was different. It was different. It was what wrestling needed in a time where wrestling has become just an extension of reality TV. It has become this world where it used to be about being bigger than belief, and now it's about trying to make everything feel so real. This was needed. This was absolutely needed. Now, do I have questions about what happened? Sure. I have tons of questions. We can start out with, who were these people backstage? Who was laid out in the midst of all of this chaos? Who was all these people that were laying on the floor as the camera took a tour of the backstage area? Now, I found a list on our Discord that was submitted by We Too Deep that the IWC dug up that they are claiming is the list of people, of the victims of the Wyatt 6. I don't buy it. I'm going to tell you who these people are. Right now, the IWC is claiming Triple H, Gunther, Seth Rollins, Dominic Mysterio, Io Sky, Ilya Dragunov, Carlito, and of course, we all know Chad Gable. I'm not buying that. I didn't see those people. I think this is a lot of speculation. I think this is a lot of the internet running wild and trying to make something that wasn't there. I did see Chad Gable. That is the only one that I can confirm with my own two eyes that I saw. Did I see somebody who looked like Gunther? I did. I did see somebody that appeared to look like Gunther. I even thought I possibly saw Trick Williams or Carmelo Hayes. Don't know. Couldn't make it out. Lots of smoke going on the ground. Did I see Seth Rollins? Saw someone who looked like Seth Rollins, but I don't know if it was Seth Rollins. Did I see Dominic Mysterio? Definitely didn't see Dom. Did I see Carlito? Definitely didn't see Carlito. And there's speculation that we saw Triple H. I didn't see Triple H. I did see Chad Gable. But what else I saw was a lot of wounds that looked like bullet holes. What I saw was a lot of what looked like people who may have gone bye-bye, who may not be back, who we may never see again if we are to believe what we saw was based in reality. Now, here's the problem. Here's the problem. I'm forced to go down this secondary rabbit hole. I'm forced to go down the world known as X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. I have to go down that rabbit hole because now I have to investigate all of the possibilities, right? I have to dig deep because now this is a fucking thing. This is a thing, and we're going to live with this thing because this happened, right? And the biggest theory I'm seeing right now, and this is one that Lauren actually brought up to me because after I watched Monday Night Raw, I called her into the room because she did watch. I said, you got to watch this. You have to watch. If you don't watch anything on Monday Night Raw, you have to watch this. And I made her watch the ending of Monday Night Raw. And her first thought was, oh, this is like a dream sequence. We're being taken through. This didn't really happen. Chad Gable was not really shot in the head is what it looks like, right? Triple H is not really laid out on the floor. Gunther has not been beaten up by the Wyatt Six. This is a dream scenario. And okay, cool. I'm with it, right? That could work, but it can't work. It can't work for one simple reason. Jey Uso, after Monday Night Raw went off the air, Jey Uso did an interview with Kathy Kelly where he basically brought this into reality by speaking about this, because what we can't do with this is pretend like everybody was dreaming, including the wrestlers. We can we can put up a fourth wall here and we can pretend like the audience experienced something that the wrestlers didn't experience. But Jey Uso acknowledged that these guys exist. Jey Uso acknowledged that he didn't want any smoke with these guys. So I am not willing now to buy into this theory that this is a dream. We can't do that. We can't do dream sequences at this point. So what is it then? Is this reality? Is this the world we live in? Like I said, I have so many questions coming out of Monday Night Raw. Another question I have. I only counted 5, guys. I don't know if everybody else did the math. I only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I only counted 5. And this is supposed to be the Wyatt 6. Now, I know they're being clever and they're being cute with the S-I-C-K. It's the Wyatt 6, like they're sick. Cool, that's cute. But we were always sold that this was the Wyatt 6. Now, there's multiple ways we could take this. I get it, right? Bray Wyatt's name was on the glove of Uncle Howdy. He's there in spirit. Maybe that's the 6. Maybe what we saw was the 5 that we're going to see, and there's, Bray Wyatt there in spirit. Or we haven't seen everybody. Or there's a good chance that there's one more being added to this group. Now, who is it? I know the odds-on favorite right now. Everybody's saying it's Alexa Bliss. It's got to be Alexa Bliss. She just feels a little too commercial for this group for me. Because here's the thing. Here is the problem. And I will take 100% of the blame for this because I think I perpetuated this kind of image into a lot of people's heads. I said that we're taking a group of jobbers and we're creating a group, and how are they going to get over because they never were able to get over before. Now, I've changed my opinion. Now we're taking a group of jobbers who couldn't get over, and we're going to tell a story of why they've come together and why Uncle Howdy was able to rally the troops and bring them together so that they could get over, so that they could have an impact in WWE. And I think it makes more sense that they are people that are not big names, that they are Nikki Cross, that they are Dexter Lumis, that they are Joe Gacy. These names make more sense. I think if you bring Alexa Bliss into this, she just had a kid. She just got married. We know too much. We know too much about her backstory, and she's got a kind of real public life outside of pro wrestling. I don't think it's Alexa Bliss. Do I think there could be a 6? Sure. Do I think this leaves the door open for a 6th member? Sure. Do I think that I would be perfectly fine if they told me it's the spirit of Bray Wyatt, it's the Fiend, and these are the 5 we're rolling with? I'm not mad at that either, because what I saw last night, I was absolutely enamored with. And I was enamored with it because of the level of commitment that Triple H was willing to put into this, the resources that he put into this to make sure this didn't come off hokey. And I know, right? The IWC argues, not hokey. That was extremely. No, it wasn't hokey. It was well done. It looked like a horror movie. Now, whether or not you like that in your pro wrestling, that's a different argument. But from a visual standpoint, what we saw last night was actually stunning. It was actually fun to look at. And so this kind of raises the debate for me that I want to get everybody's opinion on. Was this the greatest debut of all time? Because there's a part of me, and I like to overreact to things after I see them, but there's a part of me that goes, I don't know that the level of commitment and the amount of resources have ever been put into a debut like they were put into this debut. And this, like I said, this changes everything. If we are to believe what we saw last night was real, if we are to believe that everything that we witnessed with our eyes is not a dream sequence, they're not going to try and play this off, they're not going to try and make us feel crazy, which very possible they could still try to do. But if this is all real, this changes everything. So the level of commitment that it takes to pull this story off is really Triple H having to be willing to unravel all of the work he's done post WrestleMania, and I'm not mad at it. This takes me back to the days of the Ministry of Defense. Not the Ministry of Defense, the Ministry of Darkness, the corporate ministry, the Undertaker. This takes me back to the days of the Undertaker. This takes me back to that surreal watching as a kid, seeing Stephanie McMahon raised up on a cross, seeing kind of the demonic culture of The Undertaker and being 10, 11 years old and going, what am I watching? I can only imagine last night being a kid and staying up, you're just begging your parents to stay up. And you're like, I just want to see the end of Monday Night Raw, Mom and Dad. They promised me that Uncle Howdy was showing up. And then that shit happened. And then that shit happened. Your head's got to be blown up if you're a kid. Greatest debut of all time. But I see the comparison I'm drawing between Undertaker and this new Wyatt 6 is going to raise the question that a lot of people don't like to talk about, and that is, where do supernatural gimmicks fit in WWE, especially these days? Because these days, I will agree, wrestling has become extremely grounded. Now, I think that's a Vince McMahon thing. I think Triple H is starting to get comfortable. I think he's starting to throw ingredients in the pot. He's starting to cook a little bit, and he's going, all right, I think we can start doing some things that people haven't seen in a while, and he's going to bring the old audience back. He's going to bring those Attitude Era fans back by doing things that we're not used to. And so the question I have is this supernatural? Going forward, is Bo Dallas, is Uncle Howdy, is Nikki Cross, whatever these people's names are they going to be supernatural? Because it didn't come off that way to me. Now, I see the IWC, I see the internet, I see them panicking and going, oh my God, WWE has just laid 100% back into supernatural gimmicks. I didn't read it that way. To me, it read more as like a psychotic cult. It read more to me as like a group of tortured individuals who have warned us for the last, they gave us 45 different QR codes to look at, and they've warned us for the last 3 months that they were coming and that this was coming, and we just didn't listen, right? I chose not to scan the codes. I chose not to follow the puzzles, and this is my punishment. This is what happens. And so I take it as this is more of a cult-like group and less of a supernatural gimmick that we're about to witness. But like I said, the level of commitment for Triple H to just literally, he was already cooking. We were cooking on Monday Night Raw. Seth Rollins had come back. Drew McIntyre had just quit. Like the Judgment Day are running at full steam ahead. The Liv Morgan shit is actually getting pretty interesting. And then boom, everything is turned upside down like that. Just a snap of the finger and everything's upside down. We don't even know if Chad Gable's still alive. Like, at this point in time, I can't get confirmation from anybody whether or not Chad Gable is still alive. But I will tell you, the one thing I'm looking forward to, the biggest thing I think I'm looking forward to out of this whole Wyatt 6 situation is, I think there's a little bit of a Tarantino situation that's about to happen. I know a lot of people were complaining that, oh, I wish we would have gotten kind of a better build up to this thing. And look, I was one of them. So I'm not going to jump into this thing and be like, I told you guys so. I was one of the people who was like, he should have been kidnapping people. But we can do this. We can reverse engineer this thing. We can come out and have the gory opening introduction to the Wyatt Six. This is them. They are batshit crazy. They are insane. They are a cult. And then we can go back and tell the story. We can tell it through vignettes and little cutscenes that we see the torture of each one of these superstars as they became the character they have become. And we can do this over, you can do this over 3 months. Now I'm in. Now I'm invested. Now that the QR codes are gone, I want to know what happened to Dexter Lumis. I want to know what happened to Joe Gacy. I want to know what happened to Eric Redbeard. I want to know, what Uncle Howdy has done to convince these people that what we saw on Monday Night Raw was justified. I want to know. And the other thing, the last thing that I want to talk about before we get out of here is I want to talk about how does this play out on SmackDown, because that's the other thing I've seen. The worst thing that can be done here, I think, is a non-acknowledgement on SmackDown. This now has to be DEFCON 5 in WWE. This has to be the biggest point of contention in pro wrestling. Nothing else can matter. All of the titles, all those stories need to be put on hold running into Money in the Bank. We can try to operate, but it needs to feel like everybody is on edge. It needs to feel like when someone's talking in the back and they hear a noise, what is that? What was that? What was that? Right? Everybody needs to be on edge. When we get to SmackDown, we now need the elements of this family existing in this world. We need people to acknowledge. We need Wade Barrett. We need Corey Graves. We need them to acknowledge what happened. And like I said, I'm not sold on the dream sequence. I don't love that idea. To me, this is the world we live in now. This is the wrestling world that we live in now, and we are going to have to accept this is the story. The story moving forward is that WWE will never be the same. WWE has been turned upside down, and we are going to have to live in this new world of Uncle Howdy and Bray Wyatt and Bo Dallas, whatever their names are. We have to live in this world. Let me know if you agree or disagree. Starting next week, this would be the point of the show where you would get to talk. Like I said, I'm still doing some pulling wires and strings together, but ultimately 15 minutes of me talking, 15 minutes talking to you guys will be how the shows run. For now, let me know if you agree or disagree in the comment section of this video. And like I said before, make sure to join the Casual Wrestling YouTube membership. That will get you access to watching the show live Monday through Thursday. Then join the Discord so you can continue the conversation. That is where everybody is currently going batshit crazy about what's going on right now. And if you want, you can go support the channel on the Casual Wrestling grouped page. The link is in the description of this video. There are going to be tiers of $5, $10, and I believe $50. Now that sounds crazy, but $50 is going to come with some kind of physical perk, like a t-shirt, a banner, a poster, something really cool. We'll get there. Don't stress about that. Just support the channel if you like. If not, enjoy the content. As always, I am the Notorious Nerdy D. You guys are the Casual Wrestling faction, and we will talk more pro wrestling tomorrow.